Good evening, boys and girls, and thank you for joining me for our book talk tonight. Our book talk will be on the book Holes. Holes is one of my favorite books that I've ever read, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Holes is about a young man named Stanley Yelnats. Stanley's family was under a curse that dated back to his no good, dirty, rotten, pig stealing great great grandfather, and it followed his family for generations. Now, Stanley has been unjustly sent to a boys' detention center, Camp Green Lake, where the boys build character by spending every day, all day, digging holes, exactly 5 feet wide and 5 feet deep. There is no lake at Camp Green Lake, but there is an awful lot of holes. It doesn't take long for Stanley to realize that there is more than character improvement going on at Camp Green Lake. The boys are digging holes because the warden is looking for something. But what could be buried under the dried up lake? Stanley tries to dig up the truth in an inventive and darkly humorous tale of crime and punishment and redemption. It is such a good book that you will not want to put it down. In this book, there are 2 different stories going on. There's the story of Stanley and his friends at Camp Green Lake and all the things that they're going through, and they're digging their holes every day. And then there's the story of Kissing Kate, who was wronged by a gentleman, and then she became a thief, and that's why they're now looking for the treasure, because the warden is certain that it is buried in the remains of what used to be Camp Green Lake. This story is about how Stanley learns about his history, about his family, and how he redeems his family from the curse by carrying out a promise that his great-great-grandfather made to Madame Zeroni. I'm not going to tell you how he carries that out because that will ruin the story, but it's a very, very neat story about friendship between Stanley and his friend Zero. Zero couldn't read, and all the kids made fun of him, so Stanley and Zero made a deal. Zero would dig Stanley's holes, and Stanley would teach Zero how to read. So throughout the book, they worked together to devise a plan to escape from Camp Green Lake, but as you all know, when you devise a plan to escape somewhere, it usually doesn't work out. So you'll have to read to find out what happens to the 2 boys. One of my favorite parts of the book is when Stanley's mother sings to him, and then Stanley then in return sings to Zero. And this song is very important in the story because it holds meaning, and it goes back to Madame Zeroni and the curse on the family. So I'm going to share that song with you right now. It goes like this. If only the woodpecker sighs, the bark on the trees was as soft as the skies, while the wolves wait below, hungry and lonely, crying to the moon, if only, if only. Please take this opportunity to read the book Holes and find out how Stanley and Zero get out of Camp Green Lake, save the kids at Camp Green Lake, if they find the treasure or not, and how Stanley breaks his family curse. Thank you for joining me for our book talk, and have a great evening.